right now. I think we're trying to enjoy this as best we can while at the same time keeping a pretty good edge about us and a pretty good focus on what's next and not really getting too high and too low. And, I mean, we were fine in the locker room, but we weren't doing cartwheels. We were ready to, you know, we celebrated quickly, but we're on to the next.
Brad, there was a time this season, I guess in early December, when you were kind of concerned about the team.
Yeah.
When and how did things?
We went to a bigger lineup. We're playing bigger, obviously moving Ian into the starting lineup, Hunter to the 3. I think that's helped us just be physically bigger, helped our rebounding, you know, put bigger size on different positions. Now your 4s and 3s are guarding bigger guys or being guarded by bigger guys, you know, on our team. I think that's helped us. You know, it is probably even more necessary with Hemingway, right, getting hurt. But that happened after the Loyola, right? We were playing smaller. We were playing Hunter at the 4 for most of the year up until that point. Not all the time, but most. And that just kind of was the last straw. We talked about it, and I think we tweaked a couple things offensively to be able to still play well offensively with a bigger lineup. And that's part of it too now. Part of the smaller lineup, you got more shooting, more drivers. Bigger lineup, you're going to be better posting and some other things, but you got to tweak what you're doing then on the other end. So, you know, we kind of knew that we probably would maybe have to get to that point, but early on with everybody healthy, we felt like smaller was better. Maybe in hindsight, that was a mistake.
Brad, BJ talked about being here, let's go do chances and that kind of stuff. Just tonight, you had students.
Yeah.
Students lined up at 9 a.m. 200 hours plus for
Yeah.
What's the environment like?
Yeah, environment was unbelievable, right? And we've had this, you know, in other years that I've been here. But, you know, this is when Little John is full like this, I think it's one of the best places in the league to play. The crowd is on you. There's great interaction, and obviously part of it is our responsibility to have a good team, to keep people excited. You know, sometimes I've joked about this for many years. Dabo's very selfish in that he plays all the way into middle of January most years, unlike most teams, and so it makes it a little harder, to be honest with you. It does. It's part of the job at Clemson is when that happens, people are just – I mean, obviously we all love football, and I love it and support our team as much as anybody, but it makes it harder in December and November when some schools are done at Thanksgiving and some are done early December, and we're still rolling. You guys aren't here. I can tell you that. I've sat here with one guy this year. One. It's nice to have all of you here.
Were you surprised to see the fans storm the court despite being the first?
No, I wasn't surprised.
Were you excited about it?
It was fine. If that's what they want to do, that's great. I want our students to have a great experience at Clemson and enjoy everything about it. You know, I'd rather wait till we do something bigger, but that was fine. It was good. Yeah, you know, I do think it's fairly significant from a standpoint of longevity in the profession, and it's hard. It's a hard profession. So I'm proud of that. I think you've got to have some consistency. I think you have to have a real program to be able to be a coach for 20-plus years. You got to be doing things the right way in a lot of areas, and there have been some folks not doing it that way at this level. And so I'm very proud of all that, and I'm very proud of all the players I've coached, the great assistant coaches that have worked with me. It's all, you know, a reflection on them and what they do. And but I am proud of, you know, having accomplished something like that from the standpoint of just some longevity. Well, that's a great question. It might have, I think it was at UT San Antonio. We lost my first college coaching game. It was an amazing story. So I'm obviously from Evansville, Indiana, right? Grew up the son of a high school coach back when Bob Knight in Indiana was everything, right? Winning all the national championships. So when I was an associate head coach at UNC Wilmington, my boss, Jerry Wainwright, was doing scheduling, and he scheduled Texas Tech for the following year. You know, he did it during the year. Well, Coach Wainwright left. We had a good team, won. Coach Wainwright left and went to the University of Richmond. I became the head coach at UNC Wilmington. So my first college game is at Texas Tech against, Bob Knight, who's probably I grew up watching, and I played for one of his assistants, and so worked for another one of his assistants. So it's a pretty cool story. We didn't win that game. We were close, but lost. But we got another game, UTSA, I think, and I think that was my first win. So.
You throw any chairs in that game?
No, life was much simpler back then. No, he was in cruise control. All good? Yeah.
You said you'd rather wait for the court storming for a bigger, more
Yeah.
important win. Is beating Duke not?
No, beating Duke is a big deal. Yeah, it is a big deal. Obviously, storied program. John's going to do a phenomenal job there. They're a very young team. We benefited from one of their best players not playing. This was a big win for us, absolutely. But, there's a lot of good teams in our league, and we don't storm the court for all of them. We storm the court for a few here. Obviously we're trying to get to that next level as a program. So the next level for us is to, continue to do those things. We have to see ourselves in a different light, and trying to do that, you got to view yourselves as becoming more equal with some of the peers. I've told folks, and I got criticized, at the beginning of the offseason and the beginning of this season, that we're a better program than people have given us credit for. We're 5th in wins in the ACC in the last 5.5 years. That's pretty good. Most people would not guess that. I guarantee you, most of you wouldn't have guessed it, right? We don't get a lot of credit. That's fine. We don't go to the tournament every year. Very few people do. But we're usually somewhere in that middle, and I think we have respect from the coaches and programs in this league because when you play us, you feel us. And now, do we want to do better and take the next step? We do. But it's a whole process. It's a university process. And it isn't just one coach. You got to have your whole university behind you if you want to be at the top of the basketball chain, just like a lot of the Blue Bloods are. And they have their full university support in everything they do. So we're trying to get to that point. We're building, but, we have to earn that as a program, and I have to do a good job as a coach and try to get to those points. But if we're going to see ourselves as equal, we can't be that excited just about beating one team. It has to be about beating all 14 or 15, and that's hard.
Any more questions for Coach?